What is going on, everybody? I am so incredibly excited for Pilgrim Games to happen this coming Sunday. Now, what I want to do is quickly kind of give you an overview of what the night looks like for you as a small group leader, what it will look like entirely, and then ultimately why we're doing this. So this is our big Thanksgiving celebration. We're going to feed everybody. So right as they come in the door, our hope is to be feeding them Azel's chicken, like literally as they show up. So that way we can get this ball rolling. We're going to do Azel's rather than our typical Friendsgiving because of COVID. This is going to be really a lot easier. We're charging our students who call Westminster home, and then friends come free. But one big thing that I didn't lead with, I led with food because that just feels right. But the big thing that I didn't lead with is that we are going to be combining middle school, junior high, and high school. So the two are going to be all together as one big happy family during this event because we have a lot going on. And so to get everybody in the same room will be so much fun. So we're going to have food set up near the kitchen where we have snacks. And then we're going to have everybody go through there, head to the high school room, and hang out for a bit. We're going to have everybody eating at tables. We'll have little pieces of paper set out to where kids can write out what they're thankful for. I will get up, kind of introduce the night, and talk through what the night looks like. Now, after this is going to be pretty brief. We want it to be 30 minutes or less. After this, we're going to move everybody over to the gymnasium, and this is where we are going to have all of our fun. We've got 4 games that we are all going to play, but we're going to play it as small groups. So you are going to be working with your small group as a team throughout the night. And I'll get to why we're doing that in a little bit, but you're going to be rotating every 15 minutes from one game to the next. This should give us the breakdown. We're going to have you rotate probably about every 11 minutes. So you have a couple minutes to wash up, clean. Yes, you will be cleaning your hands and getting to the next game. So what are the games? Bear with me. This is going to be a little bit of time, but I have these incredibly well made, I pulled them straight off the internet, scorecards. It has all of the rules for all 4 games. Yes, all of the rules in these few sentences. And your students can get creative if they think that something kind of fits in the rules. Maybe it does. Maybe it is covered. But there is also a place on here for you to be keeping track of points. That's important because the following week that we are together, probably December 5th, unless we can pull this off at the end of the night in time, we have a prize for the group that wins. So what are the 4 games? The first game, and everybody's going to start at a different location, so that way we can just kind of rotate you like a clock. So on here, you'll go clockwise. But the first game is turkey bowling. Now, please keep all of these confidential. We don't want to spoil any surprises. Turkey bowling is perhaps one of my favorite youth games that I have ever played, and I discovered it in Arizona because it was a game that youth group had been playing for years and years. And it is literally exactly what it sounds like. We've bought a couple of frozen turkeys. We're going to lay out all of this tarp and lay out 2 specific lanes with 2-liter sodas at the end of the lane as your bowling pins. And then we're going to have all of that greased and soaped up, and students get these big, long cleaning gloves if they want them. Most students opt out. And they put these on. We've got a bucket of lard that they stick their hand in, get it covered with lard. They'll grease up the bird and then try to bowl as best they can. Now, you'll have all of your students go through this at least once. This one moves really quick. You'll have somebody setting up the pins after they bowl to get the bird, set the pins up, and you'll just do a relay race, counting up for all of your points every pin that gets knocked down. So, for simplicity's sake, just write down 5, 6, 9, 6, 3, 7, and add that all up afterwards. Now, your next game is actually outside the gym we've got this rocky area where a trailer is parked and we can go out that side door. It'll make a lot of sense when we're there. And this game is going to be two small groups going against each other. You're going to be competing against one other small group the entire night. And these two small groups are going to be outside with a bunch of potatoes and one slingshot. One slingshot per group, and this slingshot is going to be a 3-man slingshot where 2 people are holding the side, 1 person's pulling it back, and we have spray painted a target, and then they're going to be launching the potatoes from a designated area to the target. Everybody launches at least 1 potato, and then you figure out if they got in the target, that's a point. If they missed the target, no money. The third game is called Flapjack Toss. Now, Flapjack Toss is one that I've played before and I think is so much fun. You're going to split your small group into 2 teams. So it will be 2 groups, 2 small groups, set up into 2 teams. Now, those teams is kind of a weird designation. Imagine like sides of a football team, the offense and defense, except you'll have throwers and catchers. Your throwers are going to have a mountain full of pancakes, and they can only touch the pancakes with a spatula. They can put the pancake on the spatula, and then they have to toss the pancake across the way to their catcher. Now, the catcher is armed with a baking sheet, and they can catch the pancake with the baking sheet, and if they catch it, they then have to eat the pancake, and we have all these little Dixie cups full of syrup. They will have to eat the pancake and drink some syrup. The point doesn't count until they've eaten the pancake and the syrup. So some groups that I've played this with have kept 1 thrower and 1 catcher just because they're getting a bunch of points and nobody else wants to do it. Other groups have kind of forced students into different roles after a couple of pancakes, or however that works best for you and your group. Now, the 4th game is going to be something a little less messy. It's the only game we're doing not food-oriented, and it's going to be a little bit more slow-paced as compared to the other 3. This is called the Turkey Feather Relay. Now, in this game, everybody is going to grab 1 feather, 1 turkey feather, and they're going to have 1 plastic spoon. They'll put the plastic spoon in their mouth, the end of the spoon that you eat from pointing out. And then they can set their turkey feather on the end of the spoon, and they have to get from one end of the race to the other without their feather falling off. Whenever the feather falls off, they have to stop, put the feather back on the spoon, and then they can move forward. They can't move forward if their hands are touching. Now, we've got all of these rules laid out in right here. After these 4 events, I will be walking around with a bullhorn, letting everybody know when it's time to rotate. And after these 4 events, we will all head back to the high school room. Hopefully, we'll have enough time to crown a victor, and we will have a great time. Now, I didn't get to why we're doing this and why we're doing this event as small groups and small group leaders. Well, this whole event is to really lower the stakes, lower the risks the students have with inviting their friend to church. Because in this event, a student can reach out to a friend and say, hey, why don't you come to this invite night? It's just fun. We're just playing some Thanksgiving-themed games. We'll probably talk about what we're thankful about. And that's it. It's not going to be like this weird churchy thing. We're not going to be talking about Jesus or doing all of this stuff. And that relational component, that risk is lowered. And then what happens is this new friend comes, joins your team, your small group, and you get to know them. You get introduced to them. You learn what they're interested in, the things that they find exciting, how they tick a little bit. And then, near the end of the night, or at any point throughout the night, you can be the one to say, why don't you come back in December? We're doing another invite night. It's like a Christmas one, but before that, we're actually doing one of our regular things on December 5th. You should come back. Because for you and I, we have no relational risk with inviting a kid to come back. You and I, we care about this at a really deep, real level. And so when we invite, it doesn't feel like we're posing. There's no downside to you and I making that second invitation. In fact, that's a big part of what we're doing here. This is a big part of why we do invite nights, so that you and I can make that second invitation. Hey, you should come back one of our regular nights. Because when we do that sort of thing, who knows where this can lead? I just imagine the stories years down the road of somebody talking about how they came to faith and saying, yeah, I was throwing around this frozen turkey because a friend invited me. And that's how it all started. That's how I came to know Jesus. Because after that, I came back and they talked about Christmas. And it hit me. It changed me. Or I started coming back more and more because this group did fun things and I made friends. And then I came to know God. These invite nights can be the start of somebody's spiritual journey. Somebody's spiritual life with God can begin because they were flinging pancakes across the room. So guys, I am so excited for this event. I love Pilgrim Games. If there is anything that I can do to help clarify, or if there's anything that I can be praying about for you or helping you with as we get ready for this event, please let me know. I want to be abundantly available for you. I love you guys. I am praying for this event. I think that this can be the start of something incredible, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you. Thank you for being willing to do these obnoxiously ridiculous things so that the kingdom of God might grow.